Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so glad you're here with us because the story we're diving in today, it hits right at the absolute core of what it actually means to be a parent. You know, we spend a lot of time on this show analyzing complex data, but honestly, sometimes the most profound lessons are hidden in the quiet, totally unseen moments of everyday life. We're going to walk through a deeply emotional narrative about unspoken sacrifice, the heavy weight of grief, and the literally unbelievable lengths a parent will go to for their kid. It's a gorgeous illustration of silent endurance. Let's get right into it.
So what is the true cost of a father's love? Just let that sink in for a second. We're not just talking about dollars and cents here, though as you'll see, that definitely plays a huge part. We're really talking about the emotional currency of love, right? What pieces of ourselves do we trade away to make sure our children can thrive? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this.
All right, section 1, the permission slip. Let's set the scene.
Picture this. It's a beautiful, warm, sunlit morning. You've got a dad wearing this worn-out red flannel shirt, just standing in his kitchen making pancakes. Suddenly, his 12-year-old daughter, Emma, she's got this messy, curly brown hair and a smattering of freckles, comes running in. She is practically vibrating with excitement, waving this piece of paper around, asking, "Dad, everyone in my class is going. Can I go too?" It's a permission slip for a massive school science trip. He takes the paper from her, and you can almost feel him forcing this smile. He's totally masking his internal panic because he desperately doesn't want to dim her joy.
And the reason for that panic? $300. I'm just going to slow down and let that number sit there for a beat. Now, I know for some, $300 might be, a casual weekend expense. But in the context of our story today, this number is an absolute mountain. It's this towering obstacle standing right between his daughter and a really formative experience.
Because right next to that $300 slip is the reality of his bank account, $47. You can literally see it glowing on his phone screen. That's a brutal contrast, right? The mood of our story just completely shifts here. All that warm morning sunshine fades into this dim, shallow reality of financial struggle. The math simply does not work out. Now, understanding why the math doesn't work is super crucial here. Money had been unbelievably tight ever since Emma's mom passed away about 3 years earlier. This dad, he has been doing absolutely everything in his power just to keep a roof over their heads. We are talking grueling, back-breaking efforts. He's working these incredibly long shifts, literally skipping his own meals just to stretch their budget. He is running on fumes, fueled completely by his devotion to his little girl.
Which brings us to section 2, a father's sacrifice.
Fast forward to later that night. All that bustling morning energy is totally gone. We're in a dark kitchen now, lit by just a single lonely lamp. The dad is sitting by himself at the table. In the background, kind of blurred out, is a photograph of his late wife. And in his hand, he's staring at a small gold wedding ring. This was literally the last thing he had from her, a ring he promised he would never take off. And as he looks at it, you can see a single tear reflecting the lamplight in his eye. The next morning brings a pretty stark reality check. He walks into your classic American pawn shop. You know the vibe. Glowing neon signs in the window, glass display counters, and that cold, harsh fluorescent lighting overhead. He nervously uncurls his fingers and gently places that gold wedding ring right on the glass. The pawn shop owner looks at it, peers over his glasses, and looks genuinely concerned. He asks, "Are you sure about this?" The dad doesn't even speak. He just gives a single, heavy nod. Just like that, he makes the trade and walks out with the cash for the trip. We cut right back to a bright, sunlit living room. Emma finds out she can go, and she is absolutely over the moon. She jumps up, throws her arms around him, just so excited. The dad is smiling, genuinely thrilled for her. But suddenly, as they're hugging, Emma pulls back. She catches a glimpse of his left hand, and she just stops and asks, "Dad, where's your ring?" He immediately panics and hides his left hand, tucking it right behind his back out of sight. He quickly covers and says, "Oh, I just took it off for work." Man, it is such a bittersweet moment. Emma trusts him completely, so she just assumes it's some new work habit. But we see that bare hand hidden behind his back, the completely secret sacrifice that just paid for her happiness. Moving on to section 3, the hidden truth. Let's fast forward a few weeks. Emma didn't just go on this trip, she crushed it. She actually won first place in the entire statewide science competition. We see her standing proud on this brightly lit school auditorium stage, holding a heavy trophy and an envelope with a huge scholarship and cash prize.
Then we cut right back to that familiar, emotional kitchen as she walks in and hands this prize envelope to her totally shocked dad.
He looks at it and says, "What's this?" Emma just looks right up at him and delivers this absolute gut punch of a line. "I know you sold Mom's ring so I could go." Wow. The dad just completely freezes. Tears instantly fill his eyes. The sheer disbelief washing over him is palpable. I mean, he thought his silent sacrifice had been perfectly, completely hidden.
So how in the world did she know? Well, Emma explains, the pawn shop owner told me when I went there after school. She had been paying attention the whole time. She noticed the missing ring, put two and two together, and went down there herself to investigate. She takes her hard-won prize money, presses it gently into her dad's hand, and tells him with absolute conviction, "I want you to get it back." It is just this incredible, full-circle display of a kid recognizing and then returning a parent's immense love.
Which leads us to our final section, returning the ring.
This right here is the emotional peak of our explainer. The very next day, the two of them walk right back into that pawn shop, side by side. Just think about the wild journey of this one simple object. First, it was promised to a wife as a symbol of eternal devotion. Second, it was pawned for a daughter as this selfless act of sacrifice. And third, it's being won back by love. As they step up to the counter, the owner doesn't even say a word. He just gives this warm smile, opens a drawer, and places that gold wedding ring right back on the glass.
The dad reaches out, and his hand is literally trembling as he carefully picks up the ring and slides it back onto his finger. He is so overwhelmed with emotion, he can't even get a word out. Emma reaches over, grabs his hand tightly, and says, "Mom would be proud of you." Standing there in that pawn shop, hugging her tightly, bathed in this really warm golden light, with the image of his late wife glowing in his mind's eye, he finally feels her presence right beside them again after all those years.
As the slide says, the greatest sacrifices are often made in silence, but they're never forgotten. That is the incredibly beautiful takeaway from today's analysis. So often, the heavy lifting of parenthood, the real grueling stuff, is done totally in the dark without any expectation of a reward or a thank you. But as Emma showed us, love pays attention. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Who in your own life is making silent sacrifices for you right now? And how can you let them know that they are actually seen? Thank you so much for exploring this incredible story with me today. Keep looking out for each other, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.